So thanks very much for joining, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. This is around Invosys and Xima, our partnership and elevating customer experience. So in terms of the agenda, I'm going to take you through just a few slides on Invosys and Xima and our partnership, a brief overview of our own portfolio. We've got a slide on the opportunity or the market that we're talking about today, which is CX, so customer experience, which includes workforce management, workforce optimization. Then I'm going to hand over to John Florence from Xima, who's going to talk about the Xima portfolio and actually show us the Xima CCaaS product. John is in the US, and thanks for joining, John. He's having some slight internet connectivity problems, so hopefully we're hoping that everything's going to be okay for John's part. And then we'll have time at the end for questions. So as I say, welcome. I'm Rob Burrell, Sales Director at Invosys. So let's move on. Okay, so the opportunity or the market we're talking about today, CX as a service or CCaaS, global growth rate of around 15%, which is huge. It's a really it's a very current and relevant market. This in the UK, that growth rate or the annual growth rate is over 8%. It's actually nearer 10% today, in fact. In terms of our partnership and why we're here, why we're talking, so Xima and Invosys have been in partnership for 3 years now. And we're out to market with Xima's product, the CCaaS product that we're going to see shortly. We also, in terms of our partnership, we also provide services throughout Europe to some of Xima's partners and customers. So together, our solutions are based around our global products, which are unified comms, the CCaaS CX product that we're going to be looking at today, and then our own intelligent voice platform, which many of you on this call know as Number Manager. So that sort of platform or the solution itself is really flexible for both partners and customers. It can be large elements of it can be white labeled so that you can take it out to your own markets. In terms of just some of the sort of obvious benefits, and we'll get onto a lot of the benefits and features in this webinar, but some of the obvious ones are around growing your revenues, growing satisfaction, growing customer service, streamlining operations, but centered around strategically growing your customers and keeping them, which is key. So in terms of Invosys and our portfolio, we've got 4 core pillars of solutions and services. Today we're talking about that third pillar along there. But I'll take you through briefly our sort of portfolio here. So we offer a full range of connectivity services. So everything from broadband right through to leased lines, wide area networks, SD-WAN, etc. We offer routers and hardware with those services, and also auto configurations of that hardware. In terms of managed services, we offer technical support and 24/7 support services. So some of the people on this call are partners of Invosys who outsource 24/7 support to us. We also offer professional services and consultancy, so that's sort of on-site and project work, along with PMO, which is outsourced project management. The pillar that we're talking about today, as I said, is around CX and CCaaS. So within that pillar, we offer our offerings are global, by the way, but we offer unified comms or UCaaS. We offer CCaaS, CX as a service. We can overlay or wrap advanced applications around those offerings, which, for example, are speech analytics. And then a really key element, we'll touch on it today, but it's a massive talking point at the minute, is actually chatbots and AI. In terms of our voice sort of solutions, which is our sort of heritage, Invosys well known for, we offer inbound services around Number Manager, our voice platform. We offer mobile SIMs or mobile services out to end customers with very competitive packages for mobiles. We offer Call Shield also, which is a product that we can overlay onto these stacks, which in itself is an interesting product. It protects our partners or customers from fraudulent calls, fraudulent activity, nuisance and spam calls, etc. All of our portfolio is underpinned by our in-house sort of technical support, order management, and sales services. So that, in a nutshell, is what we offer. As I say, what we're here to talk about today is CCaaS and CX as a service. And with that, I'll just move on to some of the sort of key points that we're going to talk about in John's part. So CX or CCaaS is a huge growth market. We know that. It's the core, or should be the core, strategy of any business. I think gone are the days when sort of customer service was just a department in a business. CX is now intrinsic to any business, or certainly should be. One of the big sort of challenges that's really relevant right now is how do businesses unify all of the interactions. So that being voice, digital, which is obviously human element, but then of course virtual agents as well, and chatbots, etc. So the next point, which is I've got from a Forrester report, that it's also on all the media and Gartner reports right now. It's really relevant. I'm sure you're talking to your customers about AI. If you're not, you should be. Everyone's thinking about it and how it can enhance their business. And in terms of this point, by 2026, and obviously we're moving into 2025 in a number of weeks, AI will enhance 100% of CX roles. So that's not necessarily replacing humans, but actually enhancing their roles. So it's around that optimization and performance. Advanced analytics, of course, is part of it. So a couple of examples there: sentiment and speech are areas where you can get those analytics and report and actually make your staff, your agents, more efficient. Okay, so with that, I'll hand over to John. Hopefully all's good with you, John, and we can look at the Xima portfolio.
Yeah, we'll give it a go. Hi, everyone. Appreciate you jumping on here today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about Xima's CCaaS. And really what we want to focus on with our solution is a better customer experience. That's really what we're going to focus on. Okay, but a little bit about me. Again, John Florence, been in the industry for the past 13 years, specifically with Xima. Been in the industry for 20 years in the telecom space, focusing primarily in contact center. So I get the unique opportunity with my job to talk with customers, work with our product team, work with partners like Invosys to really understand, what customers are looking for and where the market is going. And that's what I want to share with you today. So when you're talking about a customer experience, you need to understand what the need is. How do you improve a customer experience? Well, there's really 3 key areas where you can improve the customer experience. First is seamless communication. Okay, allowing your customers to communicate with you a way that makes sense for them, that's convenient for them, and giving them all the tools and resources needed to get a hold of your team. Okay, so that includes things like multi-channel and funneling that in to your agents so they have a seamless experience as well. So making a single pane of glass for all communications: voice, web chat, SMS, WhatsApp, sometimes referred to as social media, emails. Okay, and then giving your agents the proper tools to handle all those communications, giving them the resources they need to be successful. That can be a number of different training tools, from workforce optimization knowledge base access, scripting tools, and then the rise of AI. AI is really making a significant impact in this space in ways such as, taking that first level of communication with your customers with chatbots or voice bots, or streamlining the process with your agents rather than building out a flow for a knowledge base. Let AI assist your agents based off of keywords with real-time agent assist, things of that nature. From a supervisor's perspective, AI is helping with scheduling and forecasting with workforce management tools. AI is also helping supervisors analyze calls. When it comes to call recording, a lot of customer service environments record their calls. Not all, but a lot do. Statistically, supervisors or management, they can listen to about 5% of calls. That's about it. So what happens with the other 95%? And again, a lot of times the reason they'll go listen to a call is because they get some sort of escalation or a complaint that they need to address. Okay. What about the ones, again, that they don't hear? Speech analytics can fill that gap. Speech analytics can draw your attention to calls that maybe need your attention from a supervisor or management perspective. And that's the third area, giving, again, supervisors the appropriate tools to effectively manage their teams, to know, are they staffed properly? Are customers getting a hold of the agents and the business in a way that's efficient for them? All three of these areas are, again, understanding the need and how you can improve that customer experience. And our solution addresses each one of those categories in a number of different ways. Okay. So let's talk about the seamless communication. That, again, I hit on the multi-channel, but it's more than just the multi-channel. A unified platform, unified communications to CC, contact center. A lot of times when you put a contact center with a UC system, because a lot of phone systems generally don't have a contact center to do all these things. It's usually something that layers on top. Sometimes when you do that, they really function as two independent systems, which makes it difficult to manage and can impact the customer experience. For example, oh, I got a call that comes into the contact center. I need to transfer it over to someone within the office. Sometimes that's not a seamless process. Sometimes it's like transferring it outside the business and you're transferring it to a 10, 11-digit number. So again, it can impact the customer experience. With Xima's solution tied to really any UC platform, one of the default things we ensure is that unified platform for dialing. So if you need to transfer calls to and from, back and forth to the contact center, it's still a 3 or 4-digit extension dial. So again, feels like that seamless communication. Okay. And that's going to help with providing the consistent experience to the customers. They want it to be consistent. No one really loves change. And so if you're going to change something, they want it to be an improvement, not a step backwards. What can help from a seamless communication is agent productivity tools, integrations with things like Microsoft Teams. We're on Microsoft Teams right now. A lot of businesses use Microsoft. And a lot of businesses have some type of CRM, whether that's for healthcare or finance or for business services. They have some type of other application or tool that the agents are using. You want a contact center solution that's going to streamline all those different tools, because again, that can be difficult for the agents to manage. So we have seamless integration with Microsoft Teams where the customer or the agent experience lives directly inside of Microsoft. Again, it's all about just desktop space and making it easier. So if I'm in Microsoft Teams, oh, that's where I'll answer all my communications, whether it be phone calls or emails or web chats or WhatsApp communication. It's all funneling through Microsoft Teams. It then can have single sign-on for Microsoft Teams, helping the IT department with password management and user access. We can also send all that data to the CRM. When you talk CRM integration, that can mean a lot of different things. We've developed what we call the 5 key features to work out of the box. So they just deploy our contact center solution, these will work out of the box. They include things like screen pop. Okay, if I get a call from a client, I want it to open up my record inside the CRM and then log that activity in the CRM automatically. So if the agents take the call, take an email, take an SMS or a WhatsApp communication, we can seamlessly log that to the contact or the account record in the CRM. So now you have visibility of that communication in both places. We can also do click to dial. So if I'm in the CRM and I want to call a client, I can just simply click on the number associated to their account record, and it can launch that call to the contact center. We also developed an address book. So if you don't have the CRM open, but you need to call someone within the CRM, you can look up that contact within our agent client. And all of this, again, we're talking about a lot of things, a lot of integrations. We want to make sure it's easy to use. Okay, from Forbes, an article from Forbes in late 2023, so about a year ago, they reported in the customer experience space, if an application is not easy to use, if an application is confusing, they found over 80% of customers were not utilizing the full feature set of their customer experience platform or of their contact center platform. And a lot of times when I talk to customers, it's because they just don't know how to use it. It's not intuitive. And so they don't get the data or they're not getting the feature set that they need. You also want a contact center solution available when you need it. So access 24/7 wherever they work. And this is purely cloud-based, geo-redundant within your geographical region. Last, abandonment rate. It is probably the top key metric that most customer service environments monitor is that abandonment rate. At Xima, we've developed what I call the trifecta of solutions to reduce your abandonment call rate. First is a virtual queue, a queue callback, where customers can call in if it's a long wait time, if they're in a bad position in queue, maybe 10th or longer, they can have the system hold their place in line and call them back when it's their turn. Statistically, that virtual queue will reduce your abandonment rate by about 40%. So again, great first step. But what do we do with the other 60%? Well, let's just let customers know, or let's let them schedule their call so you can call them the second you have an agent available. So they don't even have to wait. From your website, we can put a form on your website where they can request that call. It'll schedule it in your system. The second you have an agent available, you can call that customer back, and you can prioritize your queues. So maybe you want to answer all the customers that called in live first. And then once you have agents available, okay, let's call those customers that requested a call. So you can prioritize what calls you get to first. That's number two. That's going to significantly help that abandonment rate as well. Because again, customers can just schedule that call. They didn't even call in, so it's not going to affect your abandonment rate. Number three, I call it the catch-all. Customer calls in and they go abandoned. You can set the system to automatically call the customer back the second you have an agent available. So if a call goes abandoned, you can set the criteria. Maybe you don't want it on all abandoned calls. Maybe they called in and hung up within 10 seconds. We don't have to call those, but maybe anyone that hung up after 30 seconds or after your SLA, I want the system to automatically call them back. Let them know, hey, we're calling you back. We now have an agent available. Would you still like to talk with us? With those three things, you can significantly improve your abandonment rate, which voice is still the tried and true method where a lot of people still like to communicate. Other channels are moving up, but voice is still the key driving factor of a contact center. And all of these things, when you wonder, okay, why do we want to do all these things? It's to drive revenue. It's to drive business. That's like the top line goal of why do we care about a great customer experience? Because statistically, if you provide a bad customer experience, over 76% of consumers have admitted if they have a bad experience, they will look for a new solution or a new provider. So if you're a healthcare clinic, if you're a bank, if you're a business services, unless they're really tied to a contract, which a lot of those environments, they don't have contracts, you provide a bad experience, you have a 76% chance that you could lose that customer. Okay, here's just some research showing, again, the different businesses or verticals within the industry and how customers want to communicate and how they're communicating with it. This was done over a survey we did over 3,000 different customers, not on our platform. They were on all sorts of different types of platforms. And we asked them, what are the different ways your customers communicate with you? And so we could just take a look at these healthcare, 57% use voice and web chat. And we kind of lump those together because those have been around the longest. But email, SMS, social media, WhatsApp, those continue to increase. And so what we're seeing actually year over year is those yellow, orange, green, gray charts, they're expanding. And voice and web chat is decreasing. So less and less people are calling in and they're preferring a different method to communicate. And if you're not providing those solutions, they might find someone that does provide it. So again, these can be seamless additions to your environment if you're not using these today. So again, what the numbers tell us. Okay, and I've talked about this a little bit throughout the presentation, but just so you can see it. Again, Q callback, I said it, depending on the article you can read. This one specifically was from Forbes as well. I've read other articles that say up to 40%. 33%. 33% of customers can go abandoned while waiting in queue. So Q callback can address those. You can address the other 66% automating your callback. And then 83% of consumers have admitted they would prefer to text, chat, or use WhatsApp with your business. Oops. So we've talked about, again, improving that customer experience. The other way we can improve the customer experience is giving your agents the proper tools they need to do their job. Things like scripting and knowledge base articles, where based off of the phone number, based off of the queue that they went into, we can seamlessly integrate and pop knowledge base articles. So they have the information right in front of them to best serve that customer. And that knowledge base can update based off of a flow. So as they go through the call and they run through a script, they fill out that script that can adjust the knowledge base based off of, again, what the customer's calling about. Workforce optimization is a phenomenal tool to improve agent productivity. What this allows management or supervisors to do as they evaluate those calls, as they listen to them, they can instantly and automate driving that agent performance in two different ways. Naturally, if you listen to an agent's call and they did a great job, you want to acknowledge that good job. So you can score the call, and that can give the agents points, which can be used for gamification or contests within the organization. So agents can see how they stack up against their team coworkers, which again, maybe you want to reward the team as a goal or individual based. That's that driving that work-friendly competitive environment. Okay, a lot of people really drive towards that. The other thing that it does, when an agent does something wrong, and if you listen, just think of your environment. If you listen to one of your agent's calls and they did something wrong, if you don't go coach them up, what are the odds they're going to do that same thing next time they get on that call? Probably really high. In fact, I've asked that on hundreds of demos that I've been on. I've never had a supervisor say, no, they'll get it right. They always usually like, oh yeah, I have to go coach them, or they'll keep doing it. Workforce optimization, as you listen to that call and you're like, oh, you didn't do that right, or this needs improvement. Again, you can have free form questions. That can automate the training. So the agent gets an email with the training that you want them to watch. And then you can just monitor and ensure they actually took the training, and then evaluate future calls post-training to ensure they obtain the information and knowledge that you wanted to give them to get from that training. So again, it's all about automation and optimizing your agents to give a consistent and best work experience. Because again, not all agents are created equal. We always want all of our agents to be as efficient as they can. It's one of the best tools to do that. Next, it's a simple thing. It's such a simple thing to do in your environment. Account codes, sometimes referred to as disposition codes or subject matter codes. If you're not using these today, I'd highly encourage you to look at a system that can provide this feature functionality, because let me explain how this can help your business. It's one thing to have reports and to be like, okay, in our customer service team, we took 200 calls yesterday. 200 calls about what? There's a lot of different things that people could be calling in for. And by obtaining that information and allowing your agents to disposition, oh, they called in about a billing issue. They called in about a question about this. They called in about, you know, signing up for a new account. Again, whatever the different reasons are for your business, that allows you to make better and more informed decisions on things you could do to help maybe self-service. Let's make some more information readily available on our website so the customer didn't even have to call in. Maybe there's an article you have out there, but gosh, we get a lot of calls on it. Clearly, people aren't able to find that support article on your site. So what could we do to improve that? And that's where AI is really going to help as well, is automating a lot of these processes. Okay, and I'll speak to that a little bit more here right now. So we talked about the knowledge base. We talked about the scripting tool. With tools like Real-Time Agent Assist, that provides that information in real time where the agent doesn't have to enter a script, enter information. The AI can just key off of keywords and then present relevant information to the agent. It can also help agents understand customers' tone. So maybe things are going a little bit negative. Sometimes people are really good at reading that, sometimes they're not. And so it can let the agent know, hey, this call's turning a little bit negative, or it can alert supervisors or management in real time if an agent needs assistance. That is known as Agent Assist. Currently, that is on our roadmap coming in 2025. Same with chatbots and voice bots. The whole purpose of chatbots and voice bots is to kind of field those low-level questions on your website, or the ability to obtain information and present that to your agents so they didn't have to collect that information. They didn't have to spend that time to collect that information. Now, there's two ways in the market that I've seen people do the chatbots and the voice bots. Method one is what's been out for a while now. It's what I'll call a mapping. You may have seen some of these in the marketplace where, okay, if the customer types this or some combination of this question, respond with this answer. And so it takes a lot of time to set up, and there's always scenarios that, oh, it might not understand, and so then it will then transfer to the agent. That's a mapping AI. The new version of AI is conversational AI, where you give the AI access, in essence, to a database of information that it can just instantly pull from. So it's not a mapping. You just literally dump all that in a database or a knowledge base, and it can use any of that information to communicate with your agent. Now, what Xima is doing with the chat bots, and this will work with WhatsApp and SMS, it's not just web chat, is obviously there's always going to be over time a question that maybe isn't in your knowledge base that the chat bot cannot handle. In that case, okay, I don't know the answer to this. Let me transfer you to a live agent. We have those transcripts. We have those chat logs in our database. We will automatically update that into our chat bots. So the next time that question is presented, that chat bot has that information. And so it's constantly evolving, it's constantly learning and obtaining new information from the logs, from the transcripts we have in the calls and in the chats. Now, tools that are readily available today, speech analytics. We spoke about that earlier. If you're recording calls, I'd highly encourage you to investigate a speech analytics engine because, again, statistically, you're looking at about 5% of your calls. So that means 95% of your customers' experiences are going unchecked. This can eliminate any use cases of a bad customer experience. This can also draw attention to where maybe agents could use a little bit of improvement. And again, it just lets you see that information without you having to spend time to listen to all those different calls. Workforce management is also a great AI tool which can analyze your data, analyze your call volume, your email volume, your chat volume, and help you understand when you need agents available to maintain your SLA. The other thing that it can do for you is help with scheduling. Okay, well, you're telling me I need 15 agents, 8 a.m. and then 30 agents at 10 a.m. Well, it can build those schedules out for you, saving, again, a lot of time on the supervisor's part and providing better accuracy to ensure you're staffed properly. The other thing it will do is real-time schedule adherence. The workforce has changed. There's a big hybrid work environment. Customers that I speak with all the time are wanting to know, what agents are doing in real time, but they don't want to be overly intrusive. They don't want to put anything necessarily on the agent's PC, little too big brother-esque, but they still want to ensure they're logging in on time. They're taking their breaks on time. They're going to lunch on time. Because again, if agents are just freeform their schedule, that can have a significant impact on your customer experience. And so this gives management direct access to ensure that agents are following the schedule regardless of where they work. Okay. The last thing, again, is the supervisor tools and analytics. The one thing that we do at Xima Software, everything I've spoken about today, is we spend a great deal of time in our product development ensuring all of these tools are easy to use. Again, there's a lot of options on the market, but I constantly tell customers, as you evaluate options like CRM integration or even running and customizing reports, not all systems are created equally. The ease of use matters, because if you cannot figure out how to use a particular feature, it might as well be like that feature doesn't exist because you can't utilize it to help your business. And so we want to make sure everything is easy to use, from real-time agent control, real-time wallboards, customizing the interface and the reports, so you get the data you need to make, again, appropriate business decisions, whether that's, moving agents around to different queues or offering different channels to different queues or different customer bases. And we want to ensure that all these tools, as you roll them out, are compliant. The solution is compliant with SOC 2, ISO 27001, GDPR, HIPAA, as well as PCI compliance. And it gives all those tools to you as management. We then want to make sure, again, as questions come up, you have access to that. So one of the unique things that we provide is cradle to grave reporting. Cradle to grave is kind of an unusual name. It does exactly what it sounds like, though. It shows the full customer experience on all channels. I've seen other solutions add cradle to grave to reporting for calls, but what was the customer experience on a web chat? What was the customer experience on an email or on a WhatsApp communication? We're going to show that full cradle to grave experience, the wait times in between messages. Did they get transferred around between agents? Did agents stop responding and that had to re-queue and then go to a different agent? You'll get that full visibility, and that gives you direct insight into what that customer experience is, as well as how your agents are handling that experience. You can then use that cradle to grave information to also, again, customize the reports. Maybe you see, okay, I see how you're calculating that data. I don't agree with your definition. I want to change it. Again, you have that flexibility from a customization perspective. And then we talked about integrating all of this into all your different tools, whether that be Microsoft Teams or your CRM or single sign-on. Again, making it easy for you to have the information in real time for both your managers and your agents. Okay. I'll try to show a quick live demo. Again, I apologize, everyone. I got in and my internet it's functioning, but it's having serious lag. And I apologize if that happened today. If you do want to see more, if you do want to learn more about the solution, again, connect with Russell, connect with Rob. Be happy to schedule a more personalized demo for that. But just to kind of show a few different things, here is our agent experience. And this dashboard, this agent experience, can be customized to show virtually any value you want in real time. So instantly as an agent, I can see I've got an email in queue. I've got a messaging queue. We could break that out and show if it's a WhatsApp or an SMS or a web chat. I've also got a call in queue as well as a queue callback. But those calls and the callbacks, again, they can be scheduled a number of different ways. Maybe I want to come over here on the website and chat with an agent. Or again, I can request that call, fill out a form, and I'll just say this is demo Bob at testemail.com, and put my phone number in here. And based off, what I'm looking to do, that can schedule the call in the appropriate queue that I want to see. Okay, so again, that's been submitted and that's now going to present over to the agents that are part of that queue. And I can start taking all these different activities by making myself available in real time, logging in and out of my different skills, logging in and out of my different queues. And in fact, one of the agents became available and you can see it's calling the customer back with that queue callback. We can call the customer back as many times as you want because maybe we called them at a bad time. I'll go ahead and accept that queue callback so it presents over to me as an agent. And again, I can toggle between my different calls. I can toggle between my different emails, my messages. I have all that flexibility as an agent in real time. And again, this can live inside of Microsoft Teams if you want to consolidate that agent experience. And it'll do single sign-on with Microsoft Teams. This isn't going to work very well today because I'm actually presenting to you inside of Microsoft Teams. So it's going to instantly put me in a busy state. It doesn't want to send me calls because I'm on a call. I'm on a video call. So with that Microsoft Teams, it has bi-directional presence sharing. So if they're doing things inside of Microsoft, such as a team meeting and a video call, well, that will automatically make them busy in the contact center. So again, they don't get presented calls when they're not supposed to. Supervisors, again, have direct access to all of their tools where they can see the different messages in queue, emails, calls in queue, and again, change the agent's states. So if agents aren't available, they have control over those agents and they can make them available. They can log them in and out of their different queues. They can log them in and out of their different channels in real time. Okay. And again, I'm sure there's a little bit of a lag here on that experience. So that's where I just need to get my internet fixed. But I can come over here, run all the different reports that I want to see. So if I need to see things historically by hours out of the day, days of the week, and this can show, again, that instant impact of that queue callback. I can see all my different call volume. And right here, during the 9 o'clock hour, I had 18 calls. I answered 11 live. I missed 3. All right, well, what happened to the other 4? Oh, they went into the callback. And I was able to get a hold of all 4 of those. So I instantly reduced my abandoned call rate by about 60% by providing all those different features with the queue callback. And you can see the success that it has on those different calls. So it can have a significant impact on the business. Or maybe you want to look at the different channels, such as how are emails being handled or how are calls being addressed. You can see all of that line by line, but I can then also drill down into that customer experience in cradle to grave. So if I want to see exactly what's happening on these calls, oh yeah, here they pressed digit 2 and they hung up. Okay, did I get a hold of them on the queue callback? I haven't yet. Again, if you do have some of those live calls, you'll be able to see that in real time, see how they got to your agents through cradle to grave, what button they pressed. And if I want to listen to the recording, I simply press play and that will pull up in my cradle to grave interface where I can listen, fast forward, rewind, download, email, delete, do what I need to. I can see that same thing on my transcripts, whether it be a web chat communication or again, that SMS communication or email communication. You can see all that. This is where, again, my email or internet connection isn't the greatest. So we'll save that again. Hopefully you can see the intuitive nature of the interface and that it's very easy to use. And again, if I want to customize anything from the reports to the real-time wallboards, which you get unlimited number of those, you can easily do that. Okay. So with that, what are some next steps? And what can you do following today's demo? If you're not offering some of those solutions, or if you want to learn a little bit more about AI and how that could help your business, again, connect with the Invosys team. Be happy to schedule a more personalized demo, one-on-one demo, and also take advantage of some of our end of quarter promotions. It's end of quarter plus end of fiscal year, so there's some great options available so you can see how this can impact your business, and we'll help you help understand how that can have an impact on your business. Okay. We also have a lot of resources on our website if you want to learn more. It includes things like blog posts, direct by vertical, customer success stories, just to name a few things. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Rob and Russell, and we'll go over any questions that the group has.
Thanks, John. Brilliant. Okay, so I've put a quick message in the chat. So if anyone wants to ask any questions, they can put it in the chat. In terms of next steps, anyway, we'll reach out to you. Thanks very much for joining. We'll reach out and have a conversation. You probably think of questions. There are elements of this topic that you'll probably be thinking about and want to talk more about. Particularly maybe AI and how that can help your business. So let's have conversations about that. But so you can ask any questions now in the chat. Feel free, if you've got no questions right now, feel free to jump off. And as I say, thanks very much for joining today. And we'll reach out to you and have a conversation as a follow up as a next step anyway. So yeah, thank you very much for joining.